I Should Be Writing Season 20, Episode 15.
Well, I should be writing. I should be working on my craft. I should be writing. I should be submitting my next draft. But I'm sitting home watching Doctor Who.
Hi there, welcome to I Should Be Writing. This is a podcast for wannabe fiction writers, and I'm your host, Lafferty. I am a podcaster, author, and short fiction editor, and I do live streaming. I can't really rate them on how well I do each of them, but I will say that I'm much more dedicated to writing, and the other ones I try to keep up with as best I can. Of course, my co-editor is in the stream right now, so I probably shouldn't have said that in front of her. But anyway, we're going to be talking about AI stuff today. I am not an engineer. I am not an expert. I'm just going to say what I have been noticing the past couple of days. But first, I have been working on my novel edits for Infinite Archive, and I decided to, first I took some advice from various friends of mine on, this is not my first book. This is like my 8th book, and I still don't have a sense of what is my editing style? How do I step by step go through it? So I asked for some advice from Valerie, Valdez, and Premee, Mohammed, and a couple other people, and just said, how does one edit? And so I started writing down what I'm doing. And so when I'm done, I'm gonna do a podcast about that list and how well it worked. I'm already in the I've done the read over the editor's comments and feel sad or outraged. That emotion, evolves over time into acceptance. Write it all down, and then I went back to my original outline and I wrote that down. This is all handwriting. It lodges in my head better. And then I did a overall outline of the book as it is. What happens every chapter. And made big notes about things I thought needed fixing or that the editor thought needed fixing. And so I'm done with that. And today I'm just brainstorming because, I've got a murder mystery and I have to fix the murder mystery. So, yeah, that's the next step, I guess. I also did some writing for the next proposal to send my agent. Hopefully he'll sell it while I'm working on these edits. Because I'm done with my contract, and I don't know what's going to happen next, and I'm trying not to freak out about it. Kalita says, the question is, how do you manage to do this all? Well, if you mean like how I manage to do all of that stuff, I focus on one and fall behind on all the others. And then I choose the one that's on fire the worst, and then I try to catch up on that one while neglecting all the others. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but if you look at the last 20 years, that's pretty much how I work. The writing deadlines are the most important thing that I try to hit. And then I am late or behind on podcasty stuff and run to catch up with editing stuff. And the stream is live, so I can't really go behind in that. I just miss it. Yeah, it's that ADHD thing of I want to try all the things and I want to do all the things. All the things are neat. I don't have time or energy to do all the things, but I want to. Pantser brain. Yeah, that's pretty close. Yeah, pantser brain. So, trying to figure out how to start this thing. We all know by now that AI is becoming a big deal when it comes to people thinking that AI can write them stories that they can then sell to magazines. This is not true. Don't do this. Creatives are fighting tooth and nail to keep being replaced by an AI out of their contracts. Obviously I have an opinion on that. It's don't do that. I don't have power there, so I'm trusting agents and guild people and stuff to work on that. I have been using an AI machine learning thing to listen to my podcast and pick out clips that I can then post on TikTok or Instagram as advertisement. And it's pretty good. Not perfect. It's pretty good. And I like it that I can, this little bit of video editing would take me a long time and frustrate me, and I wouldn't do it if I was in charge of doing it. So, that is a place machine learning is interesting. The service that I used to grab those little podcast clips recently expanded, and now it can listen to your podcast and do things like make show notes for you, or list of links, or a blog post about your episode. And now we're getting into territory where it kind of sucks. And I'm trying to be 100% honest here. I do like the fact that they will list all the major things I talk about. So, because remembering show notes and what to link in show notes is something I have a big problem with. Even if I'm like editing the show and therefore listening to it again and therefore being met with the content again, I don't think to go out and get those links. So it's nice. I really appreciate the list of references. Is it always right? No, it's not. Sometimes it makes stuff up. So I need to check them all. But I do like the fact that it does grab those. When it comes to things like writing the actual show notes, the paragraph that says, in this podcast, I talk about X, Y, and Z. I interview this person. We talk about this. It's pretty bad. It focuses heavily on very flowery language with lots and lots of adjectives. Reading it, I feel embarrassed. And this is not like I'm being humble and don't want to toot my own horn. No, this is not tooting. This is like blaring. It's really awkward. And since I know this, I'm starting to see it in other places. So first, I won't read it here because I don't want to embarrass the person. On the other hand, if they actually listened to the podcast, they would know that I would not be the person to contact to be on the show. So I know that most of the people who contact me to be on the show have never listened to it. Because this is a science fiction show. I mean, yes, it's for writers, yes, it's for creatives, but I rarely talk about anything except for genre. If I talk about any marketing genre at all. I got this like press kit. I got the email and then the press kit, and the language was so flowery, I felt embarrassed for the person sending it to me. Every noun had at least one adjective attached to it, a exciting international book tour, and then like the next sentence mentioned it was virtual. So exciting and international in my living room. And it's like people who are using this think that if they just make it sound good, it's going to cover up any failing that they have. And this person has proudly posted all of their social media data on this press kit. And I'm not putting anybody down for not having a huge following, but if you don't have a huge following, don't brag about it as if it is a huge following. I mean, lie. I mean, yes, I just told people to lie. That's not very good of me. But it's like, don't tell me you've got 100 Instagram followers. Either don't tell me or lie about it. 100 is not going to work. And I just got the sense as I was reading this that the author had used an AI or machine learning to write it out, to make it sound really impressive. And it did not. Then I got an email. I was talking about it with my husband, and he suggested it was written by an AI. Because and this is what gave me the idea for the show. Because while I'm talking about AI and machine learning and how it affects us as creatives on the side of maybe marketing, I also want to raise a flag for people. Because these people are doing the jerk thing of, I don't know what they're really going for, but they're offering film options. And that is a big dream of most writers I know. And so, but the funny thing is the guy, number one, my legal name is not Mur. My legal name is not terribly hidden, but it's not very easy. It's like, it's on the copyright page. If you look at the copyright page, you got my name. I just don't talk about it because I always worry that there's going to be somebody out there who thinks that using my legal name would make them closer to me, when in fact it separates. I look at people who call me that and think you're either a dental hygienist, a banker, or no, those two, dental hygienist or banker, calls me my legal name. And so they found my name via a copyright page. But then they said they wanted to buy my rights. They thought, again, a lot of flowery language here. Actually, I can read this one to you, because I'm not embarrassing anybody. My production company is interested in your published work, Suspicious Minds. Put a pin in that. After a thorough review, my film and production crew highly regard your published story for a possible film/TV/movie series adaptation. Suddenly I don't know how to say words. I would like to take this opportunity to work together to create a film or TV/movie series project next year, 2025, based on your published material. I can see how this can inspire and influence millions of viewers and readers out there. This impressive and admirable creation deserves a spot on the big screen. So, okay. Anybody who looks me up online is not going to find my legal name. So they're like looking at copyright pages. I did not write Suspicious Minds. And I thought, that sounds familiar. I searched for it. And yeah, it's a book written by Gwenda Bond, friend of the stream and podcast. I've had her on a couple of times. But it's a Stranger Things book. It's branded the IP of Stranger Things. Meaning, it's based on an existing TV show. So, even if I believed them, and even if I had written it, they can't have it, because it's an IP. And I was so confused because I was thinking, if you worked so hard to find my legal name, how do you not know what I've written? How do you not know by looking at the cover that this is not anybody's IP except for Stranger Things? And I was talking to my husband about it, and I never thought it was real. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just confused. Like, why someone had to set this up to make this happen, and why? Why did they do it? And he's like, it sounds like it was like data mined from an AI. While I still don't know how they decided I had written the Stranger Things book that Gwenda wrote, that makes a lot of sense. And I'm thinking, if this is a legit company that decided to hand all of its content hunting to an AI, they're either scams or they're grossly incompetent. Amazingly so. Yeah, its comments in chat are lazy, mildly creepy, scam print sounding. Yeah. For a cold email, they're already saying way too much. Exactly. So let's go off on a small tangent here, because this is a writing podcast. And this can happen to anybody. This can happen to you if you are self-published, if you've published a couple of short stories, if you've published traditionally. A film person can get in touch with you and say, I'm interested. I want to give you a little bit of information about what that's going to be like. If they are legit, they're going to say, who is representing you? Can you forward me to your film agent? Anybody who wants to deal directly with you either doesn't have any money and wants a handshake deal, or is trying to scam you because they know that you won't know what to look for in any sort of contract they may offer that would have the red flags flying and the klaxons yelling in any film agent office. So if anybody ever contacts you for rights regarding your short fiction, your long fiction, your self-published fiction, whatever, look for that information. Look for them saying, we're interested in optioning. We are, please get us in touch with whoever's representing you. It'll be less flowery because already them saying, we want to make, we want to look, we want to buy an option for your work is already what you need to hear. You don't need to hear, it's a fantastic work. I'm going to give you money is what means it's a fantastic work. In this specific sense, that's what the language means. You don't need to hear it's wonderful. What you want to hear is we want to pay you for the thing. And if we want to talk, I've done other shows about film options. I could do another one. I don't want to get too in the weeds for that. But what they're doing is typically they're buying the right to make a movie of your stuff, but they're also buying the right for no one else to do it. And this can be like, it's lucrative but frustrating if you find yourself in this situation, because sometimes they buy options just to make sure no one else makes it. And so you get free money and nothing happens. I have sold options for 2 books. Both of them have been renewed more than once. And so the free money was great. Not lying. But nothing ever happened. And I knew nothing would ever happen. The odds are so tiny. That's another thing. Anybody who really says, oh, this is going to happen, we really want to do this, they may say they really want to do it, but they will not guarantee a thing. And they will, they will talk about buying the option. And the option means you can't do anything else film-wise with this for usually 12 to 18 months. Again, free money. Fantastic. Good thing. But that's what's happening when someone offers you, anybody from Hollywood or any other film crew city contacts you. That's what they want. And that's what they should say they want. And they're not going to be overly flowery because this is a business deal. If you think about any time you have sold anything, Valerie and I buy short stories. We do not say, thank you for sending us your wonderful, fantastic, beautiful, glorious short story. We're so glad to be able to buy it and bring it to our massive audience who will really be enriched by your content. We're polite, we're businesslike, but no, we're going to pay you is the words. We accept this and we're going to pay you are the words that say, or rather the words that mean, this is really good. Daniel says, AI does some hilariously bad at associating people to their actual work. Yes. Foreigner's here. Good to see you. I hope you received the package I sent. The future of the information age seems kind of bleak sometimes, not gonna lie, says Starvin. Me too. Yeah, it does to me too. And some people are like, know what to do when it comes to fighting back. And I don't. So we're not all fighters. And I know a lot of people look at people who don't do action. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. But, some of us just aren't fighters. And if you want to put us on the front lines, I can't promise anything good will happen. Are there some websites that have lists or call out the scammers in the publishing world? Yes. I don't know if they cover film people. But yeah, Preditors and Editors is a big one. So yeah, when it comes to people fighting AI and contracts and stuff, I just hope they do it. And, I try to keep myself aware and tell you guys. Because, again, this is machine learning. It's going to keep learning. At some point, it might know that we don't like hearing 2 adjectives per noun. And it may get more fancy. And if you are someone who needs help with that, like I said, I use something to tell me what major things I've talked about for grabbing small things like show notes. And some people may think, well, I'm self-publishing my own book, and I don't know a lot about marketing, so an AI may help me write that press release. That is true, but you can't just let it go. Because, like I said, I have to check all the links it gives me. Because it's gonna try and just be wrong on some of them. What was really funny is when I was doing the show notes for the episode before last with Wale Talabi, the AI could not figure out Wale's name. Could not. What's really funny is that he mentioned, and of course I've forgotten her name and I don't have it in front of me, but he mentioned another writer, and I was worried that I wouldn't be able to find it, but the AI got her name perfectly right. They found her online. They didn't give me her link, but they did spell her name perfectly, and so I was able to go find her and link to her. Writer beware, thank you, kids are asleep. Writer beware and Preditors and editors are good at keeping track of these scams. Yes, Lee says if you're going to use AI for writing articles or scams, you need to verify. You need to verify it anywhere. Victoria tends to call it scams as they happen. Yes, Victoria is a force. Victoria is someone you put on the front lines. Victoria Strauss is amazing. I take an incredible amount of joy getting LLMs to lie with absolute confidence and or crafting adversarial prompts. What is LLM? I thought you were talking about multi-level marketing, but that's MLM. Nope, that's something else. Oh, there's the ad break. Okay. Large language model, thank you. Okay. Sorry, I'm catching up with chat, and not sure how many people can hear me. Kalita uses AI like a sounding board. Use it to outline story ideas and for research. Yes. That's the thing. I feel weird saying I use the tool to help me on the production admin side of podcasting, but, it does a good job for what I need it to do. I like throwing my emails through an LLM to see if I'm being too aggressive or to help me rephrase things, but using it for facts is always going to go poorly. Exactly. Very likely going to go poorly. Yeah. Even when it tells me a wrong link, it at least mentions a word that I said in the show. And if I want to follow it up, I can look up the link myself. It's the list itself that is value to me. Let you know that some people are going to be using it. Some people are going to be using it outwardly to screw you and ruin your writing career and put it in contracts and stuff. But other people want to either make themselves look really impressive or scam you by using these tools. And, we had to be vigilant when the princes contacted us and said they want to give us a lot of money for helping them get out of the country. And we had to be vigilant when we got the thank you for buying Norton software for $230. If you need to argue this or call for a refund, please call this number. We had to be extra vigilant. And now when they're sending the AI after us to give us really, really high compliments with terribly trite purple prose, we gotta still be vigilant. So pay attention when you're reading your email, y'all. But yeah, we just have to remember that it's gonna get smarter. Unfortunately, it's learning on people, which there are a lot of people who will try to teach it bad things or racist things or sexist things or other harmful things and think it's funny. And that's not great. So do you guys have any questions about anything? I ran through several different things. Just also, I will say, be careful when you talk about using AI because it is a very, very charged topic right now. At the beginning, I did ask ChatGPT what my podcast should be about, and they were, no. It is, if you're starting a writing podcast for the very first time right now, sure. It's all basic covering character, covering plot, covering conflict. Not a lot of nuance. And that's really what this is all about. Maybe if you know exactly how to ask the right question, it'll work. But overall, it just can't, the AI can't see in your head and see the nuances of where you would want to go or would have the ability to go if it was giving you a podcast topic. I don't know. My metaphor wants to go, an AI is like putting on a pair of the right shoes for the right sport. It's not going to make you better at your sport, but it'll help in small ways, but it's not going to make you better. You're not going to lose to an NBA All-Star and then put on different shoes and then win, despite what Nike and Reebok have been telling you for decades. Sorry, folks. Yes, thank you, the kids are asleep. AI should be used to replace drudgery, not creativity. That's pretty much it. You know, you should have the podcast because I'm sitting here talking for 15, 20 minutes, and that's what I was wanting to say. The creativity is not going to, it's never going to match us. AI is a tool and it's here to stay, but you can use it ethically or unethically, yes. Yep, it's drudgery, it's brainstorming, it's, you know, I think it could point out to you something you hadn't thought of if you're just brainstorming. Or, you know, sometimes, and I don't know how many other writers have experienced this, I think it's pretty common, when you need to talk to somebody about a plot point and you talk it out and they may answer you, they may have an opinion, but just by talking it out, you'll know which way to go. You don't have to, that's a rude thing to say. I'm not going to say you don't have to listen to them, but I'm going to say their opinion is not why you're talking to them. You can listen and you can take it. Maybe they have great ideas, but overall, it's the talking out. So sometimes if they give you, if an AI gives you a bad idea or wrong idea, it may push you in the correct direction. I worry about the power consumption needs of various AI tools spewing CO2 in the air. Yes, we need to think about that. I don't think enough of us think about the damage computing power does. Pretty much. Like the environment needed another attack on it. Okay, let's talk about something fun. I'm trying to think of something fun. Actually, Foreigner says, the environmental issues are technically true, but I think there are a lot bigger issues. At least AI is useful, unlike all the crypto mining. Yes. Saying it does damage doesn't mean it is the worst thing in the world. There are worse things that need to be addressed, but if it does damage, it shouldn't be overlooked. Yeah, the fun thing I was going to say is I was going through my novel and noting all the things that need to be changed and getting a little scared and getting a little nervous, and then I came across a scene I forgot I wrote. And then I laughed. And if you're a humor writer and you can actually make yourself laugh on an edit, that's one of the best feelings in the world. I don't know if y'all will find it funny, but I forgot I wrote it, and then when I reread it, I found it really funny. So that's one of those tiny little wins. I'm going to be taking a very quick trip this weekend, and while I am hoping to do some editing while traveling, I'll probably be playing games because it's a stressful kind of travel. But, oh, that's right, I forgot to say, especially now that we've got more watchers, I will be a guest of honor at the Savage Mill Geek Fest in 2 weeks. So if you are in the Savage Mill or Savage, Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland area, then check out Savage Mill. There's just going to be a big old sci-fi nerd convention. I'll be there, and Dr. Phil Plait will be there. And I don't know who else they're inviting, but it should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. My friends John Smar and Laura Burns own the game company Omnihedral, and they're going to be one of the big people putting it on, so I'll get to see them. Doesn't every writer churn out an entire secret novel every time they go on vacation? Well, first, this isn't a vacation. This is a fly somewhere to get something and drive it back. So there's not going to be a lot of lying around and enjoying. So, like, maybe on the flight, maybe when I'm not driving on the way back. But I also have to be making notes. When having to edit a murder mystery is very challenging, because the frame of the story like, if you're familiar with Station Eternity, you know we have our characters on the station, and they remain the same, and they have their little B-plots. And then humans go to the station, and there's a murder. And that's the A-plot. The framing, the larger story, why it's called Infinite Archive, all that needs some tweaks here and there. But the murder, that's gotta have some serious reworking. And I don't like that. Yes, so many moving parts, and changing one can change many more. But yes, Savage Geek Fest, and then I'm probably going to be at NASFiC in Buffalo. And then there's the Glasgow WorldCon that I'll definitely be at. And I'll be celebrating my 20-year anniversary of podcasting at WorldCon. I'm very excited about this. And then I am considering World Fantasy Con, because after the current sci-fi stuff, I may be dipping my toes into some more fantasy things. That it'll be a change of pace, and I'm kind of looking forward to it. You know, if they sell. But I was thinking about going back to World Fantasy Con and seeing what I could get out of that. Also in Niagara Falls, so Buffalo, New York, essentially. All right, well, if nobody has any other questions, I'm going to check out and see who's online. Hey, it's a little big. I'm not going to lie, I definitely have utilized AI when writing certain elements of my tabletop campaign I'm currently running. Yeah, I think Valerie's comment about AI could replace drudgery work, not creativity, is one to really focus on. You know, I can't go to AI to make it fix my murder mystery, but it's going to help me remember all the important things I said in this podcast so I can write out a good list of links for you guys if there's anything you want to follow. Oh wow, Janet Reed of Query Shark fame has passed away. Query Shark used to be pretty good. That's unfortunate. To put a nice bookend on the show, thank you for watching or listening to I Should Be Writing. You can find out more about me and my work at murverse.com, where you can see links to my books and my podcasts and my the magazine I co-edit with Valerie Valdez. All of it at murverse.com. You can support the Patreon at patreon.com/mightymur, where you can get access to all the archives, which I'm working on, by the way. I won't go off on a tangent about that, but I did have to bring the archives down, and I'm tweaking them, and I'm putting them back up. They will come back. But on a good day, you'll have access to the archives and access to the exclusive community of writers we have in our Discord. And that's a very fun community. I'm very glad to have brought people together who get along and talk about fun things. And the Patreon has other perks, but I think those are the two that people love the most. I'll be back next week with something else to talk about. Yeah, I'll talk about something about writing. We'll see. Something. Until then, you should be writing. Thank you for listening to I Should Be Writing, the longest running writing podcast in existence. This episode was made possible by the Fabulous, who support the podcast via Patreon or Substack. Join the Fabulous at patreon.com/mightymur or mightymur.substack.com. Theme music provided by John Anelio, art provided by Numbers Ninja, and podcast hosting provided by Libsyn. This episode is released under Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives 4.0 license. You can find all of my books and podcasts at murverse.com.